Stafford protected, looking for Kupp. Did he get the feet down? They say yes, a catch for Kupp. First and goal for the Rams. Stafford looking up top. Got him wide open. Kupp to the end zone. And the Rams take the lead. Touchdown. Stafford to Kupp.
Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry, served by Applebee's.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Happy Hour, the first NFL Sunday of the season in the books. Connor Rogers, Matthew Berry, Jay Croucher at the top. You heard the great Mike Tirico calling great Cooper Kupp moments. Despite a Lions win, Cooper Kupp back on top, man.
Big little Cooper Kupp.
Big Cooper Kupp this year, Matthew.
Yes. Yeah.
Bigger and better.
Yes. My little Cooper Kupp is all grown up. Yeah, I mean, look, we talked about this throughout the preseason about how we thought you could make a strong argument for Cooper Kupp over Puka Nacua just straight up, but certainly at cost. We all loved Cooper Kupp. He was on the preseason love list for a reason. Did I expect 21 targets and 32 fantasy points in week one? No. But, Jay, we talked about it. It was one of our best bets on fantasy football pregame as well. I talked him up on Football Night in America. That worked out. My Amon-Ra and Khalif Raymond did not as much. But look, helped by the fact that they were trailing in game script and, you know, the fact that Puka was out, but monster performance.
Yeah, and even before Puka went out, like Kupp still physically, he looked like the same guy. I think he was going to head for maybe not 21 targets if Puka Nacua was healthy, but certainly double-digit targets comfortably. And in 2021, I had a big bet on Jonathan Taylor to win Offensive Player of the Year at 70-1 for an ungodly amount of money, which I never ended up seeing because Carson Wentz blew a 17-point favorited game in Jacksonville in Week 18. But I was cheering against Cooper Kupp all season long, and last night brought me all the way back to 2021 because he looked like the same guy. He looked magnificent. The toe tap was just vintage Kupp.
Even when they knew it was coming, they couldn't stop it. I mean, McVay is such a genius at sort of moving Kupp around.
It's crazy. The motion king.
Right, exactly. And him and Stafford, Kupp and Stafford just have such a simpatico, right? You know, I mean, they're very much like us. Like,
yes,
it's
very
exactly
similar.
like us.
We are McVay, Stafford, and Cooper Kupp.
Yes.
As you see the next-gen stats route chart from Cooper Kupp, I mean, the Lions knew where the ball was going, but there wasn't much
42
stopping
snaps
him.
and 12 touches in motion in week one, the most by any player in a game over the last 7 seasons. Kupp was in motion all the time. You see here, right there, what's crazy is that's a block. I mean, I think Cooper Kupp doesn't get nearly enough credit for as good of a blocking wide receiver as he is, but the point is he never comes off the field. And because he is such a good blocker, defenses have to account for that. Like, they don't know when he's going in. Is he going to block? Is he going to run a route? What's happening here? So the point is again, we don't need to belabor it. He's awesome. He enters Monday Night Football as the second best wide receiver in fantasy football, and certainly the best one that wasn't arrested on Sunday morning. He was doing this without the motivation of, we'll get into that in a second. But the fact is, while I don't think he's going to get a 43% target share or 32 fantasy points, Cooper Kupp, wide receiver one, this is completely legitimate.
Yep. Is there any reason why Cooper Kupp just doesn't immediately vault into the tier of guys like Jamar Chase, certainly A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson? Like, is he even in the C.D. Lamb type of world just immediately after what he showed yesterday?
I don't know how he wouldn't be. Like, if you were drafting today, like you can still draft a league. Like, if you want to go on Yahoo, you can still do one like a guillotine league. So there are people that will start leagues this week, next week, whatever. I don't know how you not draft Cooper Kupp as a top, as a wide receiver one.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's Tyreek who's still one,
Yes.
and then after that, you can make a case for a lot of guys.
And someone that would agree with that is his quarterback, Matthew Stafford, who had a lot to say after the game on Kupp's performance.
It's I'd love to know what his yardage was running today. I mean, we asked him to move all over the place and handle a whole lot of things, both in the pass game and the run game. And he leads that room really well. That's why you see those other guys step in and come in and play the way they do. So proud of him, happy for him that he played the way he did today. And like myself, we just hard on ourselves and want to make every play if we possibly can. But, it's proud of the way he competed today.
Cooper Kupp drinks free. No surprise there. The unfortunate side of this, guys, and part of the reason that he had 21 targets is Puka Nacua left the game early with a knee injury. He tried testing it out, came back briefly, then he left on the cart. I mean, and this is somebody, Matthew, that was hurt this summer, which makes it that much more
Yeah,
concerning.
I mean, that was one of the concerns that we talked about that felt like with Nacua banged up. And Nacua, by the way, got banged up last year as well. You know, I mean, like it got sort of, because it was such a breakout year, people sort of like glossed over it, and Kupp got hurt as well last year. But yeah, Nacua hurt somewhat last year, hurt in the preseason, which is why we're talking about, it looks like Kupp has overtaken sort of that alpha number one wide receiver role for the Rams offense. He's scheduled to undergo testing on the knee today. We'll find out more. But as of this taping, it's 10:40 in the morning. We don't know the status of Nacua. It does seem like if Nacua were to miss some time, that Demarcus Robinson, Tyler Johnson, Tutu Atwell, in that order would sort of be the pecking order. Demarcus Robinson played 92% of the snaps yesterday. Johnson 66%. You might see some Colby Parkinson as well, but feels, so to me, I feel like maybe you pick up Robinson. We'll talk about that tomorrow on the waiver wire show. But other than that, let's hope for the best with Puka Nacua.
Let's move over to the Lions side, who won this game, by the way.
Jay, do we need just a quick question before we move on? Do we need to ask Cooper Kupp to come on the show so that you can take a photo with him, crop Connor and I out of it, and replace that photo with a photo of just you and Puka Nacua?
Well, producer Steven did such a flawless job putting your face in AI yesterday, so maybe we can just AI Cooper Kupp onto my Puka Nacua photo.
Maybe that's
it's possible.
That could be the play, for sure.
Maybe we could have that happen.
Yeah, by the way.
On the Lions side of things, breakout game for Jameson Williams. And not breakout game because it was week 1. Breakout game for a guy that this is year 3 of his career. We've been waiting for this for the former first-round pick. Catches 5 of 9 targets, 121 yards. Of course, the touchdown. He had 13 yards on the carry. Jay, we just got to see the speed element that Jameson Williams brings to the Detroit offense.
Yep, so he goes 5 for 121 on the touchdown, but to me, the most important stat, he saw 9 targets. Like, he just wasn't seeing big volume last season. Like, he saw 50% more targets than Amon-Ra St. Brown, who we're going to talk about. But, I mean, this guy is someone who, and we've spoken about this before, that coming out of the draft, like, if he didn't get hurt, there was a chance that he was going above Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Drake London. Like, he's that type of talent. First year as a write-off due to injury. Second year, I don't think he can fully write off, but, like, he had the gambling suspension. It was disrupted. He never seemed to really get in rhythm. They raved about him all off-season, and that seemed pretty fully realized last night.
Yeah, I caution to sort of listen, great to see Jameson Williams do what he did as well. 32% target share, almost half of his pass attempts that he got were on deep targets, but seemed like, to me, Connor, a more expanded route tree than what we've seen before from Jameson.
They finally trust him out there consistently.
Yeah,
they never have.
Played 85% of the snaps, but Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta, it was just, by the way, it was just a bad week overall. Elite tight ends were bad. Some big-name wide receivers were bad. We're going to get into it as well. But Amon-Ra St. Brown joins a long list of highly drafted wide receivers, including Puka Nacua, including Drake London, including Chris Olave, on and on and on. We'll get there to all those guys. But, just had a bad day, right? It's the worst fantasy game of his career as a full-time player. Only his third healthy game with fewer than 7 targets since the start of 2022. Just 3 for 13, but did get 6 targets. So 22% target share, ran 100% of the routes. He was out there. And the fact is that the Lions' just passing game. I'll tell you this, I gave out one of my bets that I gave out on Football Night in America, which did not cash, by the way. I always have to do a parlay. And so my parlay was Cooper Kupp over in the receiving yards, check. But Amon-Ra over 80 yards, I took an alt line. I took over, and I took Jared Goff 250 passing yards. Now, Jared Goff last year at home averaged 280 passing yards a game. Amon-Ra St. Brown had at least 80 receiving yards in every home game last year except for one. And neither of them came close to those numbers. It just felt like, the Rams did a good job of controlling the clock, and so there were less possessions for the Lions. And also, it felt like the Lions were being effective. They were running the ball effectively. They didn't need to throw as much. Right. Their defense, the Lions' defense, played really well. So, Stafford had the bad red zone pick as well. So because the game never got into shootout territory as well. So it was just a more balanced team, more balanced game on both sides of the ball. I'm not ready to bail on Amon-Ra St. Brown or Sam Laporta just yet. I get very frustrating game. I have a lot of shares of both guys, but, I think let's celebrate Jameson Williams, but I'm not ready to bail on either the other guys.
No, I think you have to knock them down a little bit just because of how good Jameson Williams looked and just, again, how dominant the running game was. Like, they threw one pass in overtime and they marched down the field. They threw the ball one time and it was to the running back, Jahmyr Gibbs. I will say, like, last year, Jared Goff was second in the entire NFL in pass attempts last year. That has never made sense to me. Like, this is like an O-line running the ball.
It's not who they want to be.
How do they have 605 pass attempts in the regular season? So I think that'll probably tick down a little bit, but still, like, it's still Amon Ra, it's still Sam Laporta. They still play in a dome 14 of the 17 games.
I will say they're home against Chicago next week, but then at Minnesota, home to Jacksonville, home to Buffalo. So again, they are 4 straight games. 3 of which are home. 3 of the next 4 games are at home. 4 straight games for the Lions in a dome. Obviously, their one road game of the next 4 is at Minnesota. So I do think better days ahead for the entire Lions offense. So we will see there. But yeah, overall, just a disappointing day. It was a disappointing week 1, just overall, in terms of a lot of fantasy stars disappointing. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.